the only reigning queen we have left in the world, and she stripped her grandchildren of their titles. Ladies and gentlemen, Queen Margrethe II of Denmark. Following the death of Her Late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Margrethe II, who was also a cousin to Her Late Majesty, is now the only queen regnant we have left in the world. Around this time last year, there was a big scandal that went on, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about, considering that it's almost a year in and they are still going with it. If you're new here, I run a series where I talk about royal families throughout the world and the scandals that follow them. Let's get started. I thought it'd be best to start with the most recent scandal of the Danish royal family and then work our way back. So obviously we're going to talk about the whole situation surrounding Queen Margrethe II and stripping her grandchildren of her second son, Prince Joachim, of their titles. This is Prince Frederick and his wife, who is the current heir to her throne. Pictured here is Prince Joachim with his 4 children, Count Nikolai, Count Felix, Count Heinrich, and Countess Athena. Countess Athena and Count Heinrich are the children by his second wife, Princess Marie, whereas Count Nikolai and Count Felix are by his first wife, the now Alexandra Countess of Friedrichsburg. She is going to have a separate video on her own because she deserves it. At the time of everybody's birth, or the children's birth for that matter, they were titled Prince, Princess, His and Her Royal Highness. However, in late September of 2022, Queen Margrethe II announced that she was going to be removing the princely titles of her 4 grandchildren. When the news broke on this, lots of backlash came towards Queen Margrethe. Publicly, especially from not only her son, but her 2 eldest grandchildren, as well as her daughter-in-law. Which, as we know from following the British royal family, even her former daughter-in-law, Countess Alexandra of Friedrichsburg, made a statement. Every single person was not in agreement with her decision, including her grandchildren. Prince Joachim went public and said that the decision by Her Majesty really hurt his children, and he only had merely days to let them know before the press release was announced. The backlash was so severe that she released a public statement apologizing. Let's take a look at that. It goes to state, and quote, "In recent days, there have been strong reactions to my decisions about the future use of titles for Prince Joachim's 4 children. That affects me, of course. My decision has been a long time coming. With my 50 years on the throne, it is natural to both look back and to look ahead. It is my duty and my desire as queen to ensure that the monarchy always shapes itself in keeping with the times. Sometimes this means that difficult decisions must be made, and it will always be difficult to find the right moment. Holding a royal title involves a number of commitments and duties that in the future will lie with fewer members of the royal family. This adjustment, which I view as a necessary future-proofing of the monarchy, I want to take in my own time. I have made my decision as queen, mother, and grandmother, but as a mother and grandmother, I have underestimated the extent to which much my younger son and his family feel affected. That makes a big impression, and for that I am sorry. No one should be in doubt that my children, daughters-in-law, and grandchildren are my great joy and pride. I now hope that we as a family can find the peace to find the way through this situation." When news of this first came out, my first thought was, oh Lord, Charles is going to follow suit with Archie and Lilibet. Obviously that didn't happen, as Archie and Lilibet still have their titles. For now. I appreciate, though, that she decided to address this publicly, and her heartfelt response honestly touched me as an outsider looking in, and I can understand that as queen, she also has responsibility as a mother and as a grandmother, and sometimes that clashes, which is the same thing that went on with Her Late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, in which we know that that was a person she greatly looked up to. I also feel like in her last years, she looked to what Elizabeth was going through with Charles and William and Harry and all of that, and probably was like, you know what? While I am still here, we're going to make this decision now. That way it doesn't fall on my son. And I believe that is something that was said, that the responsibility should not have fell on her son and heir, Frederick, but for her to do as queen, as mother, as grandmother. The argument, especially from the older 2 children, was that this is their identity. This is what and all they have known since they were born. And It hurts that it came out and had to be done this way. Queen Margrethe's first son also has 4 children and has been mentioned by Crown Princess Mary that they will look at their titles in the future. I honestly don't believe that, but whatever. There are lots of alternative speculations on why the Queen decided to strip her 4 grandchildren, and one that I found was quite interesting. It was mentioned that Prince Joachim had a more than brotherly in-law type affection for Crown Princess Mary. A Spanish magazine went on to put the similarities between their 2 wives. Here you have Crown Princess Mary and then you have Princess Marie. If these 2 don't look like sisters, then they have a similar name to each other. I mean, if you look at it that way, it is quite odd, but I am not saying that that is the reason why. It's also been noted that the relationship between the 2 brothers, not good, and the relationship between their 2 wives, not good either. However, this is well before the situation of the stripping of the titles. And even now, it's gotten worse. During an interview, a French woman reportedly approached the royal couple and advised them that their children will always be prince and princess, and which apparently left the royal couple in tears. Princess Marie also advised that the now Countess Athena, their daughter, has been bullied in school because of all of the drama and especially the title removal. However, Prince Joachim maintains that he only had 5 days' notice to warn his children before it was released. There are still tensions in the Danish royal family with these 4 especially. But the outpouring of public support for Prince Joachim, his wife, and their children, I don't think they anticipated that. They meaning Queen Margrethe II and Crown Prince Friedrich, whatever. I'm going to end part 1 here, and I will see you all in the next installment of the Escándalo. Oh, make sure you like, comment, and repost. Bye.